Welcome everybody to our Yin Yoga class. Let's get started with a lovely spring practice. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means that we're going to actually focus on opening up more of the front body to encourage the back to be a little bit more activated, even though this is Yin. So that's our main focus today. So Cobra, Camel, all that. We're doing a lot of that today on our back, opening up in a more passive way. But that's going to help open us up so that we can embrace new growth, new beginnings. And that's what you kind of have to do, right? We don't want to close down during spring. We want to open up, receive. So that's what we are doing today. Yin Yoga spring practice. Well, let's see what that means. Okay. So I'm going to take this off so that you guys can see better. All right, let's get started. I have plenty of layers on. It's actually pretty nice outside, you guys. I already took the dog to the dog park. All right, so we're going to come to the mat and we're going to actually extend the right leg back, curl your toes under and press through the calf. Now, you may want to have your socks on or off. Either way, it's fine because this leg is going to end up going out to the side. So you're pressing through the calf. And then you're going to take that same leg and take it out to the right. And then sit back and reach your arms out. Let me take my mat a little closer this way so you guys could see. There we go. So you're reaching. That leg is extended. It's going to open up the inner thigh. Drop your chest down. Good. And then we come up and the same leg now steps up. And we're going to lift and rotate. Just kind of working our way through all the different directions. Great. And then we're going to go from that into a lunge. So you release your left leg, take it back a little bit further, and release into a lunge. I'll take my sock off. Great. And if you need an extra blanket, grab it. Remember with Yin, you want to have bolster, 2 to 3 blocks, couple of blankets, a strap. Great. Then from there, we're going to take that right leg back. You're in that crawling position now. And take your left leg, press back. You're stretching through the calf. So it is a little easier to not have your socks on because, you know, socks are not very grippy. I do meet those people occasionally that do the yoga socks, and I don't know. I don't like them. They're still, you know, we're supposed to do yoga barefoot. That's the reality of it. Great. And then we're going to take that leg out to the side. And so now it's opening up. So you're just going out to the side like this. And then reach forward. So you're going out to the side. And now we reach forward. Drop your chest. Great. You're really feeling that inner thigh opening up. And then that leg then steps forward. If you need a little bit of knee support, you could just throw your blanket underneath your knee. I need a little bit on this side. And then lift up and rotate. And then we shift from there into a lunge. So you're going to take your right leg and extend it back and hold that low lunge, opening up. Great. All right. And then we're going to take the leg back. Now, if you're using a blanket, you're going to open it up, flatten it out, because now we're going into a posture on your tummy. And you could start out with your feet wide, and then you're on your forearms and just holding it there, starting to encourage that spinal opening, front body opening. So think about postures that we do that are protecting postures, postures that help calm the nervous system. Those are all postures like a forward fold or child's pose, like a fetal position. You're closing down so the body can reset, recalibrate, protect. And with spring, we want to open. So we want to start opening up that front body. Yeah. Now see if you can bring your feet closer together. Yeah. Nice. And then if you can do more, you're either going to straighten the arms, or you can take a block or if you have more of a flat bolster, you can use a flat bolster. I'm just going to use blocks, and you can come up a little bit higher. That's just a little bit more restful than straightening the arms. Nice. And so this is activating. Very good, by the way. It's going to encourage, if you have any kind of disc issues in the lumbar, it's going to push all that spinal fluid and the disc, push it back into place. So if you do a job where you have to lean forward, or you just have an activity that you're doing that is causing that. I know a lot of cyclists have issues in the lumbar because they're hunched over on their bike, and that's just not a natural position. Great. Now try to relax your glutes as much as you can. Great. All right, and then we're going to push back. So you're going to lift up, push back. Now, when we push back, one leg goes out to the side again. So your right leg goes out, and we drop the forehead and the chest down. Good, then lifting out of that, and we're going to lay back down. Okay, push right up. See if you could bring your legs together. Open up, drop your shoulders as much as you can. Relax your glutes. Let your belly soften. Nice. So remember, when your legs are wider, that's going to be a little less stressful for the back and the pelvis. When you bring your legs closer together, that might feel a little bit more intense. Maybe intense is not the right word, but activated. More like of an opening. Now see if you can go a little deeper, and here's how we're going to go deeper. You're going to bring your hands in, and now push up again. So going deeper into that pose. Ooh, this is so good for us, you guys, because think about everything we do. When we drive, our arms and shoulders roll forward. When we cook, our arms and shoulders roll forward. If we're on our computer, same. Pretty much everything we do is in front of us. And so over time, that can cause a chronic postural issue of rounding of the shoulders. So this is going to counter that. It's nice. The next version we're going to do is downward facing bow, which I don't think we've done in this class in a really long time. All right, now, if you can bring your hands in even closer, go for it. We're just here for another 30 seconds. It's a long time. Woo! My arms are getting fatigued. So if your arms are getting fatigued, you could drop down on your blocks, no problem. Excellent. And then releasing out of that slowly. And we're going to push back. And this time when we push back, the left leg goes out to the side and dropping your chest and your forehead down. Great. And then we're going to bring that leg back and go wider with your legs. I'm using my blanket, keeping your toes together, and just go into the first variation of frog. We're just going onto the forearms. But if you want to use your bolster, you can pull it here in front. But we're really using this as a counter posture. So you can go ahead and do that if you want. And take your feet out a little wider if that's good for you. Ooh. Find that place. If you shift kind of forward a little bit or back a little bit, find where it's like, oh, wow, that's really opening up. You're going to find it. Great. And then we're just going to sit back and just go right into child's pose for a moment. Because then we're going to be doing downward facing bow. It's a really active posture, even though this is yin. But we're going to do it in 3 different variations. So we'll be not quite as intense because you're going to roll from side to side, roll and hold. Just let that sacrum and the low back release. Okay, moving on. On your tummy again. Now, here's where you might need a strap if you are not able to reach your feet. Okay? So if you can't, I'm a little sore today from my workout yesterday. Okay. So we're going to start out lifting just a little bit so the thighs come off the ground. Now you got to watch the knees going out to the side. You do want to keep them in. And then you're going to roll to one side. And then the top leg, you press your foot into your hand. And that's going to give you a much bigger opening for the front body. So it's still downward facing bow, but not quite as intense as when you have to lift up. Still a little more supported. And then we release out of that and roll to the other side. And you're going to do the same thing. Push the foot into the hand. Great. And then we roll back onto the tummy and lift the thighs up again. See if you can lift your chest. Just kind of breathe. All right, and then release. Okay, so we're going back into frog again. So you're going to open up, go wide. This time, see if you can bring your feet a little wider. And you can use a bolster or just drop down. And I want you to kind of shift forward, shift back, and find that spot where you're really opening up the pelvis. Good. And if your feet can go, if you can go even wider, do it. Go out. Take your knees even further out. Go even deeper. Chinese splits. Nice. All right. And then we bring those feet in again. And then again, we go back into child's pose and just release the low back. Great. And then we're coming out of that. Now we're going to go into camel pose, and you can do camel pose either right here in the middle of your mat, or you can pull your mat to the wall, which I actually prefer. So you take your mat and you bring it to the wall. Okay, and you can bring your blanket up, give your knees a little bit more support. Okay, then you will need a couple of blocks. And the blocks are going to go on either side of your feet, like that. And then I want you to bring your pelvis, so your pubic bone in front of the pelvis goes right to the wall. Then you're going to reach back and just bring your hands, start out here with the fingertips down right at the sacrum. And I do want you to roll your shoulders back and press your elbows back and then look up. Now, if that's no problem for you, then you're going to take your hands to your blocks. Okay. And look up. Nice. And if you're feeling pretty open, you can reach down, take your hands to your heels, but you need to keep your sacrum connected to the floor. So really, really big. I'm sorry, sacrum connected to the wall. You could just turn if you want, Andy, and use your couch. then it'll be a little bit deeper if you want. Ah, I just got something in my eye. Ah. Oh boy. Okay. All right, and then we're going to come out of that. Now, when you come out of it, we're going to lay on our back, just right where you are, and draw your knees in. Grab your feet and just hold. Baby finds his feet. Now, you could grab below the ankles too, no problem. And you can just gently rock side to side if you would like. Just to release the spine, all this back stuff. It's big. All right, and then hold in the center, just holding with the knees going into the armpits, towards the armpits. Now, if you want to go wide leg, you can grab the big toe with your 2 fingers and open up and push into a wide-legged straddle. Great. And then we're going to come out of that. And now we're going to be doing bridge, and you will need your bolster because we're starting out with bridge, but then we're going to do a nice big opening. I'm going to move my mat away from the wall just a little. But you will need your bolster close by. And a block or 2. And we're going to find our heels and then press up into bridge, supported bridge. All right, so we're just going back and forth, right? We are doing these openings, opening the front body, activating the spine. But then we have to counter posture for those. You know, you always got to release that low back and release the pelvis afterwards. So that's why we go from these back bend type postures into a forward fold, because you got to help the body release. Okay, now if you want to, you can extend those legs out. That is optional. You just have to watch where your block is. So I see people a lot put the block in their low back. That's not it. I know that feels good. It's not. You want to be right on the sacrum. And then extend your legs out. And that's optional. You do not have to do that. You could stay in the bent knee position. And then if, depending upon your level of flexibility, if you can, go even higher by turning your block. So I just rotated it on the narrow side. And now I'm even higher. So it's really a back bend. Now watch your knees. If you're staying in the bridge, try not to let your knees release out to the sides. Keep them in. Now, if you're up on this more narrow part, it's a little more challenging to extend your legs because you don't have such a big base. All right, and then we're going to come out of that. And again, draw your knees into your chest to release. Great. We are going to do a little pelvis release. So you're going to take that right foot between the heel and the ankle right here, this spot right there goes on top of the knee. Okay, and then lifting the left knee up. Interlace your fingers at the hamstring. So we're starting there, releasing the right glute. So it's going to release the glutes. It's going to release the piriformis. The piriformis is the muscle that tends to press on the sciatic nerve. And that can be really painful and cause pain all the way down the leg. And if you are a little bit more open or you have a little more flexibility, then you can interlace your fingers on the shin side of the knee of the leg, just below the kneecap, and hold. Great. And then we release. And we're going to switch to the other side. So now your left foot comes up between the ankle and the heel. That spot right there goes on top of the right knee. Then you lift the right leg up, interlace your fingers at the hamstring. Releasing the glutes now on the left-hand side. So always want to make sure that the bottom of that foot that is up on that knee is lined up with the outside of the leg. Okay, so if you're beyond that, you're really not going to get much of a stretch. Now, if you're feeling pretty open in your pelvis today and your hips, then you can interlace your fingers on the shin side of the leg and hold that, just holding below the kneecap. So it's a little bit bigger stretch.
Great. And then we release out of that. All right. Now you're going to grab your bolster. And it's going to go behind you. And so we are going to be doing Baddha Konasana with our feet to start. So you might need a block on either side. When you place the bolster behind you, you need to have a little bit of space here. Because if you get the bolster right to your sacrum, it can tweak the back. So you don't want to do that. So you're going to lay back, then get the blocks, if you want them, lined up right where you want them to be to support the pelvis, and then lay back. And interlace your fingers underneath the head. Or you can interlace above the head. That'll be a little bit bigger. Or you can grab the strap or the front of your bolster. And if you have a bigger bolster, then you're going to have a really big stretch here. So Andy, you're getting a big stretch with that big bolster there. It's nice. All right, and then you can lengthen those legs straight out. Or if you were using blocks underneath your legs, you can place them underneath your knees. So you're going to take your blocks now, straighten out the legs, and they just slide right underneath your knees. And I like to turn my blocks up. And then you lay back. Now, Stefania, you have not as high of a bolster. So what I would recommend for you is that you take your blanket, you roll it up, and then give yourself a little bit more height behind you. And then your legs go out. And now you're going to get even bigger opening for the chest. Oh, for the whole front body. Oh, I love it. So look at our spine. Isn't it great, you guys? We've got all the natural curves here happening. We've got lumbar spine. We've got it a little bit ease there going on because you've got the knees supported by some blocks. Okay, and then we're going to come out of that. So we are going to do an isolated hamstring stretch for each side. My favorite. I will recommend that you get propped up. So this is our counter posture after doing all that big opening for the front body. So you just prop up a little bit. Start out with your right leg forward. Take your left leg over so that the foot goes towards the hip and you're stacking your knees. Grab a block and forward fold. Now, depending upon your level of flexibility, your block can start out pretty high. And then as you hold this posture, you could start lowering the block. And see if you can go a little deeper into that posture. All right, and then we're going to lift up out of that and switch sides. So now you've got the left leg extended. You're going to take your right leg over, stack those knees again, and that right foot goes to the hip. Oh my God, you guys. So my neighbor feeds ducks, and I'm looking out my window here, and a mama and 10 little ducklings just went by my front door, like literally came to my front door. They're just right here. Oh, they're so cute. Little ducklings. Then you go forward. And again, you're going to start out a little higher. And then gradually shift your head down. And then see if you can go deeper. Keep working your way deeper and deeper. This is oftentimes really letting you know what your level of flexibility is there in the hamstrings and the back of the leg. As soon as you isolate that stretch, you're not pulling on the sit bones. It really helps you know. All right. And then we are shifting out of that, going back into another bridge. Right? So this is our counter posture. And holding it there. Great. And then releasing out of that, we're going to take the right leg over the left, wrap your right foot around the calf, shift your hips slightly to the right. Keep the knees up, not down, up. And then you're going to take your legs to the left side and extend your right arm out. Now, if you're not as flexible, because this is big, you can use a block and just place it right under the knees. But I do want you to keep your knees up, coming out of the hips, as opposed to down. Do you see that? I just move my knees down, pull them up, keep them pulled up. All right, and then slowly coming out of that, you're going to do the other side. So now the left leg comes up and goes over the right. Wrap the toes around the calf, slightly shifting your hips to the left, and then keeping the knees pulled up, drop them down. So not down, up. And then you can use a block if you need to, and extend your left arm out. All right, and then slowly coming out of that, resetting your pelvis back into bridge. And then from there, Shavasana. Now, if you want to do a little bit of a knee pull in, that's fine. And then set yourself up for corpse pose, Shavasana. Support your knees, get warm, cover yourself up. Nice. And then cover your eyes. right? The eyes are connected to the fire element. Eyes are the most overstimulated sense we have. So it is important to always soothe the eyes. And relax. And just let the body be still. All right, and begin to deepen your breath. Allow some movement into your fingers and toes. And then gently roll to your right side. Rest. And then bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position, hands connected, thumbs to your heart. Close your eyes. Take a moment to settle the body into the pelvis. Find your center point. Identify where all sides of the body meet, right in the middle of the body. And let that be where you focus your presence today. Staying centered, contained.
And may you have a beautiful day. Namaste. Good job, you guys.